Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here for another Real Housewives of Potomac review. I feel like if there's one thing that I learned from this episode is that I can't stand most of these ladies. I cannot stand most of these ladies. I feel like we should have had, I believe her name is Karina or Kiana. I don't know what her name is, but the K girl, I'm going to call her Key for the purposes of this review, that we should have had her instead of NECA because I like how she just says what she needs to say and keeps it moving. To me, one thing that this show proved is that Giselle will forever be weak. She had so much to say about Wendy, the way we ended the previous episode. Yet, when Wendy came up and asked if there was a problem, Giselle gets quiet. So we pick up the episode still in the beautiful DR. I've never been to the DR, but I know a lot of people who have. And one thing that I've seen in common in all their pictures and heard in their stories is about the excursions, the beautiful water. Some of them went on booze cruises. Some of them toured underwater caves, ATVs, zip lining, so many different things. Yet all we get for this trip is the beach, night golf, tennis, some type of ski shooting, food, and more food. This, in my opinion, was one sorry cash trip. Now, it was at a beautiful location. I feel like there's so much more that we could have seen, but they just keep dropping the ball with this. Why go all the way out there and not take full advantage of the beauty? And I understand that there is a pandemic, but I feel like at this point, it's beyond that as to why they're not doing certain things. So Wendy comes up and asks the ladies, about their conversation. Giselle says, we could talk about that later. In this one moment, Wendy is me because Wendy says, no, let's talk about it now. Giselle's quiet. Everybody's quiet. And Robin ends up talking about how she noticed Wendy and Candace making faces when Giselle spoke about her daughter. Wendy says, I'm not going to speak on Giselle's daughter, especially given the past and what was said, and it was used like a weapon against me. Right then and there, Giselle makes a face. She's like, but Wendy's not lying. Giselle uses her daughter for excuses for everything, not just Grace, but all of them. What I did like is that Karen in that moment says that you both give each other funny faces all the time, and they do. Key adds that everybody is shady. Candace says, when you all laugh, it's fine. But if I laugh about something, it's problematic. My faces had nothing to do with Grace. I do not have problems with Giselle's children. I have a problem with Giselle. You got Giselle saying that she feels like what was done was disparaging towards Grace, because that's what she always says. And that Karen should have taken her side. Everything with Giselle is always a side because Giselle cannot stand on her own. Candace says, I don't like Giselle, but when it comes to her children, I do wish the best for them. Ashley then wants to know, then why was there a chuckle, babe? I need Ashley to shut up. Ashley always jumps in and tries to make this situation worse by siding with by siding with Giselle rather than truly seeing things for the way they are. But in this instance, Wendy and Candace weren't having it. So we find out that tonight the ladies will be celebrating Ashley's birthday because she was supposed to have a big Havana night theme party back in Maryland, but she couldn't because of the air quality. I remember around that time that the air quality was affecting even New York. It was bad, and it was bad where I am too. That thing had me in a chokehold to the point where I couldn't even go outside for long periods of time. I went outside during lunch and came back and my allergies were on 1,000. So I know exactly what she was talking about in that moment. So we see Havana nights begin and Giselle comes out in what I would call Beyonce Renaissance attire that I don't think she should have worn. It looked good from the front, but as soon as she turned around, I was like, okay, you're not supposed to wear those Spanx with that, or that whatever she had behind it and the color of it, it just didn't look good to have that beige underneath the outfit. It took away from the sex appeal of the outfit. Ashley comes out wearing a bra and underwear, which, is carnival theme type. Candace points out that Ashley normally gives $2 ho, so bravo. Karen then takes this time to bring up Robin and Candace and the elephant in the room. I need them to all let it go because they're speaking to one another and coexisting. And at this point, that's the way it should stay. Robin says Candace thinks that she didn't do anything wrong to me when she kept slandering me repeatedly. Did Candace slander Robin by calling her a liar? I personally don't think so. Robin did decide not to talk about wine and act like everything was okay, even though she knew there was a major problem. She hid her secret and still continues to do so. And she did not and still hasn't told the truth. So to me, that kind of does resemble a lie. Robin says that she supported Candace when the different statements were made about Chris. She did at first, but when the reunion came along, she said no one's husband should come alone in a room with a woman, something along those lines. So that support quickly wavered. They show flashbacks of some of the things that Robin said, but they didn't show the other things. And that's the part about production that gets on my nerves and the edit, but I'm gonna talk about it some more. So they quickly switched to she quickly switched to Team Giselle. Don't you find it funny? Oh, I did write it here. How production always seems to have receipts that show Candace, Wendy, Karen, even sometimes Mia in a negative light, but they don't show what Robin and Giselle have done. Why is that? Robin says she supported her and now she regrets supporting her because if she didn't support her, then her name wouldn't even been in anything. Ashley asked her if with everything that's gone on, she still believes the things that she said at the time on social media. And Candace says right now she doesn't know. This is the problem that I have with Candace. She is so vocal in the comment section on Twitter, on social media, in YouTube videos, and all these things about how she feels about these ladies. But now, because she's trying to regain this supposed friendship with Robin and she's kissing Robin's butt, now she's not owning her stuff. Candace did talk about Robin. That's why Robin is not dealing with Candace. I do not like Robin, but Candace cannot be surprised that Robin doesn't want to be friends with her. Next subject, please. We see a montage of Ashley and all the birthdays that she celebrated with them. And she talks about her coming into motherhood and her growing. And we see a lot of celebratory moments. And it kind of feels like an ending to me. Sort of like what we saw with last week's episode of Married to Medicine. I don't understand what's up with that. I don't get why they're filming these things the way that they're filming. I feel like they're dropping the ball on so many, instances. So for some reason, Giselle wants to talk to Karen about why she didn't go to Surrey. This is the next day and they're by the jacuzzi. Ashley's talking to Karen. She has the nerve to accuse Karen of changing into a different person when she is around Wendy and Candace. And I just feel like it's crap. She brings up the funny faces again that were made and feels like Karen should have had her back and be on her side. And she wanted Karen to say that it is off limits. And Karen was like, no, you had an opportunity to say it yourself, but you want to come at me about it. That's not my job. Giselle is so accustomed to people speaking for her and taking on her battles, much like what we saw on the beach, because Giselle had so much to say before Wendy them came over there. But once they came over there, she didn't have anything to say because she had her various mouthpieces. That she thinks that everybody is supposed to do that, including Karen. And Karen is like, they're my friends too. I'm not getting in the middle of it. I'm not picking sides. Giselle says, I don't want you to talk about me with the other girls. And Karen says, I don't do that. And of course they show clips of Karen talking to Candace about Giselle being mean-spirited and whatever else. So show the clips of Giselle too. The edit shows so much favoritism towards those two people that I don't understand why that is. What did Robin and Giselle do to gain so much favor when it comes to these things? Because I'm sure we can all talk about the various things that were done by those two girls to the various women, and yet they don't show any of that in these flashbacks. So we see the ladies head to this touristy area and take a picture in front of a church that is rumored to have been where Lisa Marie Presley and Elvis got married. They sit down to eat. Karen talks about how coffee is good for the heart. And then Mia brings up Karen's trainer, Vernon, again. I don't understand why we keep talking about Karen's trainer. Who cares? Ashley says that she knows him. They're friends. They met like 8 years ago. They happen to DM each other from time to time on IG. Y'all DM each other. You don't have his number. Y'all aren't friends. They try to make it seem like it's more than it is. Ashley does too, because she even has to get up and go to the bathroom to avoid some of these questions. Ashley says that he's an ex-football player, but he's not a certified trainer. So now we hear a bunch of stuff about the ladies feeling like Karen just got the trainer because he's eye candy. Karen brings up how Giselle said she acts differently around Wendy and Candace. Mia agrees and says, when it's just you, you're fun. And Wendy says, it's the same thing. When she's with us, she's fun. No surprise there that Mia is agreeing with Giselle because they've already previously discussed this. Mia says that she's meaner when she's around everybody else. And then production then goes to show us instances where Karen may be what may be considered as mean, but there were instances that they could have shown where she was mean when other people weren't around, because she was mean with Mia one-on-one too. So I don't understand why they didn't show that. Why? And then on top of that, why not show the instances where they're mean? It's just an unfair edit, as I said before. Candace and Winnie both feel like Karen doesn't have a problem letting people know they're rude. And when they're rude, she tells them. And that it's natural that she happens to have to do this sometimes when everyone's around, because they're hashing out things in a group setting. They don't like to be held accountable, and that's what she's doing. Key then says what she noticed is the biggest disconnect is between Giselle and Candace and how they're not addressing it. Wendy says at one point they were all friends, her and Giselle, Candace and Robin, and we see clips of what they deem as friendship. I don't think that they were ever friends. I feel like maybe you all thought they were your friend, but they were clearly using you all to get rid of Monique, because that's what they do. They use the people around them. They split up. They use the people around them. We've seen it time and time again. When it comes to the Dodo Birds, it's just going to be about them. It's just going to be about Robin and Giselle. Everyone else is a casualty. They split up to do skeet shooters, and tennis. No surprise that Giselle, Nneka, Robin are sticking together, and they're inviting Key. Understand that them inviting Key to me was intentional, because I felt like they were going to do this to try to get them on her side. Karen, Candace, Wendy, and Mia do tennis. More like just Candace, because she's the only one that we see play. Candace and Karen say that they're probably just got us in the heat. Meanwhile, they're in the shade. And that's exactly what we see. They're under something like a hut and they're shooting discs. Giselle asks Key how she feels about the trip. Key says that she's having a great time. Thanks for the invite. She just, appreciates the fact that she's getting a chance to get to know everybody one-on-one. So then Robin takes this time to say, so Wendy brought you around. Does she try to tell you about everybody before you came in? And Key says no. She basically sees through it. You're sitting here asking her if she told you about everybody when you already said that you know her, and Giselle already said that she knows her. So who else does she need to discuss? She knows who you all are, and that's not what's going to happen. But anyways, Key sees through it, doesn't go through the whole back and forth with them, lets them know that there was obvious shade, but she never said, I don't like Giselle. The pressing concern was her issue with Nneka. It's deep and it's cultural. And Giselle tells her, well, then she should be on Nneka's side. She says, I don't feel like it requires all that. if I say that I'm done with something, I'm going to apologize and move forward, meaning I'm not going to do what Nneka and Wendy are doing, especially Nneka. Nneka says that Wendy should have apologized to her. Key says, but she was offended. And they all say, but she was offended. If you apologize, then what you needed to do, no, what did she say? She said, if you apologize, Key did, then you did what you needed to do, but it didn't work for her. And then you have this back and forth with Nneka telling her, don't stir pots that are already piping hot. She said, is there another issue? Key did, because Nneka was coming at her real hard and it just wasn't necessary. Nneka sounds silly with the back and forth because her name was mentioned based on the questions that she was being asked by the Dodo Birds. So for you to sit there and get mad at her for saying something as simple as the issue is deep because it's cultural means just that. None of us will understand that unless it is a part of our culture. And from what I've heard, it is a big deal. So why are y'all trying to get so involved in something that doesn't concern you for a girl that you've known all of 5 minutes? Key goes back and forth with her for a while and then it's like, look, you either have an issue with her, you have an issue with me, or there's no issue. And she lets her know she's out of it. I feel like he should have been a main cast member. Giselle then talks about Vernon yet again. I don't care. We go back to the girls that are at the tennis court. Mia tells a story about men liking her feet. Wendy says her name should be Socrates because she always has a story to tell. I feel like her name should be Dr. Seuss. Mia asks what they think about Ashley and her divorce. The Karen says that, you never want to hear about divorce. The ladies don't really want to go too into it. Mia says that Ashley came over her house. They talked about it, and she feels like Ashley wanted the divorce, but then she realized that the prenup didn't allow her to get anything, so she went back for round 2. Candace says she feels like the real issue is her lack of her relationship with her father, and that may play a part. Karen says no matter what people say, divorce is painful when it comes to marriage. If your objective is money, you're always going to be sad. Ashley calls the boys. They're on the screen until she sees... Okay, I'm skipping all over the place. End of that scene. We see the ladies back getting ready for dinner. As they're getting ready for dinner, we see Ashley calling the boys. They're on the screen running around and she's talking to them and she's so excited to see them. And she tells Michael she's filming. And as soon as she says that, he cuts off the camera. And she's like, put back on my boys, put back on my boys. But he will not put the boys back on. She's like, they cannot see you. They're not by you. Just put back on my boys. We find out that Michael let Ashley know if he's ever on camera, he will sue Ashley. She's not even really supposed to discuss him. So this man can't be on camera, but you're willing to go on vacation and have trips and stuff like that with that man. You're willing to allow him to help you purchase his home. Ashley, break away, get out, release yourself from this situation, get out of the sunken place. The ladies meet up for the final dinner. I feel like that's majority of what we saw, eating, and eating. As I said earlier, there are so many things that you can do in the DR, and I'm overseeing them eat. But I do appreciate the drone shots here and there. I wanted more. They talk about tennis. They talk about Mia saying that she felt like Ashley is a gold digger. Mia didn't deny it. She said, yeah, I did. Last year, you were talking and doing all this different stuff, and you were on TikTok and all this other stuff. And I feel like you married Michael for his money. And Ashley said, well, did you marry Gordon for his money? And Mia says, I might have. I personally feel like they both did. Ashley does also have daddy issues, and Mia has some issues with her dad too. I feel like Ashley took some comfort in Michael because she thought that he would provide stability, especially since that's what she always talks about when it comes to him. Mia says it's not true, and she's not the one getting a divorce, which is interesting because she is now. Ashley in confessional says, I just think she's jealous because she thought she was gold digging, but she got fool's gold. And that is the title of the show, Fool's Gold, which goes to show you how whack this episode was. Ashley says, unlike Mia, the gold that she got is authentic. Michael contributes to the children and her car, and they still have a joint account. She does Uber Eats and groceries for the children from that. I feel like he does way more than that. Giselle then brings up Vernon again. I'm not talking about it. It's pointless. Karen says that she's in great shape for a 60-year-old. Robin says, are you in great shape or do you have health problems? Because you were talking about your heart and now you're saying you're in great shape. Giselle laughs. So Giselle's allowed to laugh when Robin's making fun of Karen, but Karen can't be quiet when the girls are making faces at Giselle. The double standard. Giselle and Robin feel like she should have an actual certified trainer, is the bottom line to that conversation. Karen wants to work on her inner thighs, and they sing a song about working on your inner thighs. Work, work, work that inner thigh. I don't remember how it went. It was whack, but they laughed about it. Robin does a toast, and that's how the episode ends. Like I said, it was very You all let me know how you felt about it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time.